Hey, how come Achilles didn't want to have kids? Because he couldn't risk having ankle biters around. Here's something you might not know about Persephone. The girl actually has two different names. When Persephone is above ground and with her mother Demeter, she's actually commonly referred to as Kore, which translates to young maiden or girl. But when she's the wife of Hades and the queen of the underworld, that's when she goes by the name Persephone. Because Persephone actually means bringer of death and destruction. Dang. It sounds to me like this girl's living a bit of a double life. She's got a whole personality that she does not want mommy to know about. Hey, here's something you might not know about Loki. I'm sure most of us know that in Norse myth, Loki pretty much ends up being one of the main villains, including during Ragnarok. But that's not the kind of character he was originally supposed to be. In the older Norse myths, Loki was mischievous, sure, but more like a chaotic good kind of way. He was the kind of god that the other Norse gods turned to for help when the normal way wasn't working and they needed something a little more untraditional. He wasn't evil, he was just kind of weird. But when Christian influence started to join the party, Loki's deceitful behavior was starting to be considered similar to that of the devil, and so people started to see him as more and more of a villain, and his stories, he started behaving more and more insidiously until he straight up murdered Balder, the most beloved Norse god. No coming back from that. Really goes to show just how much something can change based on how people see it. Poor guy, he's basically the victim of a smear campaign. Sir, we've got another message from a disgruntled soul. Okay, is this the kind of message I think it's going to be? Well, it comes from the Twitter, so yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just get it over with. Mr. Odin, I am very confused as to why my soul was not chosen to enter Valhalla, as I have spent nearly my entire life battling with people on the internet. I always go out of my way to attack and berate and insult anyone who does not share the exact same opinions that I do, and I spent every moment leading up to my death fighting with people on Twitter in order to ensure I could get into Valhalla. Yet now I find myself in Helheim and my actions are being criticized. Clearly there has been some kind of mistake. I am giving you one chance to correct it before I cancel you, as I always do to people who do anything I don't like. God, I hate this generation. Hey, here's something you might not know about Nyx. Nyx, the Greek primordial goddess of night, was apparently so powerful that even Zeus was kinda scared of her. Yeah, see, there's a story where one of her children, Hypnos, uses his powers against Zeus in order to put Zeus to sleep so that Hera can run one of her schemes behind his back. When Zeus finds out about this later, he gets furious and wants to punish Hypnos for betraying him and using his powers against him. But Hypnos runs straight to his mother Nyx, and once Zeus sees that, he does not want to risk pissing her off, so he just lets it go. And this is Zeus we're talking about, the most powerful of all the Olympians. He's not scared of anyone. He doesn't let anybody stop him from doing whatever crazy crap he wants to do in his everyday life. He defeated Kronos, who defeated the literal sky, and yet he's scared of Nyx. Man, let's just be glad she was never a villain in Greek mythology. Those would have been some very dark times. Literally. Fun fact! Have you heard of Hatshepsut, the great female pharaoh who was actually never supposed to be a pharaoh in the first place? Let me explain. See, when the pharaoh Thutmose II died, the next person in line was Thutmose III, his son. But he was only 2 years old at the time, so instead, his relative Hatshepsut took over until he came of age, and her bloodline was perfect because she had been the daughter/sister/wife of Thutmose I. Please don't ask. So, she was allowed to take over temporarily, and she actually did a fantastic job. She was smart and well-educated. She managed to improve the Egyptian economy, improve their trade routes, expand on their building projects, and make Egypt a better place. And she didn't forget Thutmose III either. She had him well-educated and trained for battle, so he would be a good pharaoh when he took over. But he'd have to wait his turn. She didn't relinquish the throne right away. She continued to rule for over 21 years until she died. Good for her. Hey, here's something you might not know about God of War. You know how in the latest game, Kratos almost never refers to his son by his actual name and instead just keeps calling him boy? Well, there's actually a reason for that. You see, during a good chunk of the time spent making this game, the development team still had not decided on an actual name for this kid. So when the time came to record dialogue between these two characters, they still hadn't made a decision. And so they just had Kratos call him boy in tons of the scenes. Man, way to work around your procrastination, guys. You know, I think we could all learn a thing or two from these people. Wait, so you guys have your own gods? Oh yeah, we got a whole lot of them. So, do you have gods of war and gods of wisdom and gods of trickery like we do? Dude, we totally do! Whoa! Hey, does your chief god go around compulsively banging every single thing that moves? No? Yeah, ours doesn't either. You know how Medusa and her Gorgon sisters all have wild snakes for hair? Guess you really can't help but wonder, does the carpet match the drapes? Hey, how come the Greek gods never have to buy shoes? Because they already have Nike. So if you're a god, how do you interact with your followers? Well, I just teach them how to live more fulfilling lives. And then you demand sacrifice? What? No! Ah, so you're the kind of guy who prefers to make them slave away building giant monuments to you. No. But you do encourage them to fight to the death in your name, right? I do not do that. Do you at least command them to rip the still-beating hearts out of the bodies of their own people as an offering to you? Oh, no! Well, surely you sleep with all of their women. No! What is wrong with you? Well, then what do you ask of them? Look, all I ask them to do is be kind to one another, be honest, and try to avoid judging people. That's all you ask of them? Yes. And they all do this? No, not really. Hey! Here's something you might not know about Eros. Eros, also called Cupid, is very commonly known as the child of Aphrodite and Ares, but there are actually other versions of his story where he has different lineage. One of the most ancient Greek sources actually states that he was one of the first gods in Greek mythology. He was the primordial god of love and, well, procreation. There's even a story where his mother is Nyx, the primordial goddess of night and dark, and that he basically hatched from an egg that she created. You know, no wonder Greek love stories get so freaking dark most of the time. Their god of love literally came from darkness. So here's something about the first Percy Jackson movie that both baffles me and infuriates me a little bit. You know how the story of the lightning thief in both the movie and the book takes place during the days leading up to the summer solstice? And how in the movie they had the brilliant idea of having them encounter Persephone in the underworld. This means that Persephone is in the underworld in June. All the actors, writers, director, nobody noticed anything wrong with that? Man, they really did not give a fuck. Hey, here's something you might not know about God of War 3. The way that this game ended was not the only ending considered. In fact, there was one in particular that would have been really freaking insane. Apparently, one of the ending ideas was that after Kratos killed Zeus, suddenly the Egyptian gods and the Norse gods would show up to try to take over Greece and fill the new power vacuum. Then Kratos would discover that there were both Egyptian and Norse equivalents of him in each mythology, and he would team up with these two to wipe out all of the gods. Slaying all of the polytheistic gods would then lead to the birth of monotheism and the dawn of Christianity. Then Kratos and his two new buddies would end up becoming the three wise men from the Bible. Yeah, sure, why not? Imagine trying to explain all of that in Sunday school. Hey, yo mama's so fat, even Atlas can't lift her. Yo mama's so dumb, she booked the Sirens to sing at her birthday. Yo mama's so ugly, Hephaestus threw her off Mount Olympus. Yo mama's so big, she got across the river Styx without a boat. Yo mama's so old, she remembers when Zeus was still a virgin. Yo mama's so ugly, Athena's curse made her look better. Yo mama's so dumb, she thinks the Percy Jackson movies are better than the books. Hey, here's something you might not know about Hercules. When he was born, his name was actually not Hercules. He was given the name Alcaeus after one of his relatives. However, after the goddess Hera attempted to assassinate him when he was a baby and failed to do so, his name was changed to Heracles, which means glory to Hera. You're probably confused as to why that was done. Well, there are two possible different reasons for why. One being that it was done as a way to mock Hera because she had failed to assassinate him, which, yeah, that's a brilliant idea, guys. Let's make fun of the goddess who already wants us dead. This can only end positively. Another possible reason is that it was done as a way to appease Hera, to show respect, basically suck up to her and make her not want him dead anymore. This did not work. Honestly, I just feel bad for Heracles himself. After everything that happens in his story, I think the last thing he'd want is a name like Glory to Hera. Chief, we have a serious problem. There are colonizers here attempting to conquer our land. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. They don't know this land like we do. Meanwhile... Okay, status report. We finally managed to identify which of our soldiers were skinwalkers in disguise, but we lost a lot of resources doing so we might not be ready for the next time one of those giant horned snakes attacks the camp. We're running dangerously low on water because every time we try to get more, those Kalupa leak monsters yank our men into the depths below. Our men haven't slept in days. How can we when we know that every night those giant owl witches are gonna come out and try to eat us? Alright, we successfully located our missing troops, or at least what was left of them. Looks like the Wendigos got to them first. Gentlemen, I think I speak for everyone when I say that I hate it here, and I want to go home! Hey, what do you call a transsexual Greek god? Hermaphrodite. What do you call a transsexual Norse god? Loki. Fun fact. Does the day March 15th sound familiar or significant to any of you? Well, it might, because that day is very often used as a bad day in movies and TV shows like Fairly Odd Parents, The Simpsons, Back to the Future, and several others, and there is a reason for this. You see, March 15th is also referred to as the Ides of March, and it is particularly famous for being the day when Julius Caesar was stabbed to death by his own senators. Yeah, rough day. Sometime later, William Shakespeare wrote a play about Caesar's death, and he called it Beware the Ides of March. Ever since then, that term has caught on, and March 15th has been referred to as a day when bad things happen. So I'm sorry if it's your birthday today. That must feel weird. Oh, you gotta be careful when you bury dead bodies in Scotland, my friend. We've got these weird magical fairy cats that try to steal people's souls. What in the world does a cat need to steal human souls for? Oh, now that you mention it, I don't really know. Hello, human. I have recently stolen your soul, which means now you are my slave forevermore. Your first task? Fetch me that cream from the top shelf, which I cannot reach. Once you have finished that, you shall hold the door open long enough for me to decide whether or not I am going out today. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm a cat. We have needs. So here's a mythical creature that you might want to watch out for. The Kelpie from Celtic folklore. Kelpies are also referred to as water horses, and some of you might be thinking, oh, a water horse! That sounds lovely! I wish I could ride one of those. Well, here's the thing. You try to ride one of these, you gon' die. See, though, these things actually want you to try to ride them. They come up to you all inviting-like, but once you touch them, your flesh is bonded to theirs and you can't let go, at which point they immediately run into the ocean and drown you. Always pleasant. They then proceed to eat your flesh and then spit your remains back onto the shore. How considerate. There is one story, though, of a young boy who managed to escape the Kelpie by chopping off his own fingers before the Kelpie reached the ocean. Respect. So yeah, kids, don't try to ride wild demon horses. It does not end well. St. Patrick, you've done such a wonderful job of bringing Christianity to Ireland. We want to give you your very own holiday. Oh, that's great. So you're gonna do it like on the anniversary of my birth? No, we're gonna do it on the anniversary of your death. Okay. So what, you're gonna spend the day like praying and honoring God and honoring one another? Oh, better! We're gonna drink dangerous amounts of alcohol and pinch each other. I really don't see how that connects to anything I've ever done. Listen, Patrick, you want to be remembered, we want to get drunk. Meet us halfway. Here's something I don't get about Cerberus. So apparently it's Cerberus's job to keep souls from escaping from the underworld, right? But to get in or out of the underworld, don't you have to get past the river Styx? And the only way across the river Styx is for Charon to give you a ride, and he's not going to give you a ride if he doesn't want to. I don't think he's going to give rides to souls who are trying to escape. So, is Cerberus necessary? What's the point of that job? Did Hades just want to have a pet dog? You know, I think Hades just wanted to have a pet dog. I can't blame him. Hey, what did Anubis say when he was told to stay in the Egyptian underworld? You want me to do what? You know what? I'm sorry. That pun went to a really dark place. I'm so sorry, my son, but the Pharaoh has ordered that all the Hebrew babies be killed. The only way that I can ensure your safety is to put you in this basket and send you out into the river. Go, my son. Hopefully you will find a better life for yourself, now that I know you are safe. Oh, crap! He got eaten by crocodiles! Alright. Oh my god! Clyde! What are you doing here? Are you stalking me again? Oh, why must you always do this, Clyde? Why are you always staring longingly in my direction? Why can't you just move on? Wow, really? You're gonna be like that? Okay, you know what? You wanna have the fight? Let's have the fight! Why on earth is Apollo yelling at a sunflower? It's his ex. Well, that raised more questions than it answered. Hey, Odin, what's the story on that wall you've got surrounding Asgard? Oh, that's a great story. See, after our war with the Vanir, we decided that we wanted to keep undesirables out of Asgard. So, we hired this giant to build us an awesome wall, and we agreed that we would pay him if he finished the wall within a certain amount of time. But then we actively sabotaged him so he couldn't get it done in time, and then he had to foot the bill. Oh, so basically you solved your problems by building a wall and making someone else pay for it. Pretty smart, huh? I wonder if anyone else will ever try that. Hey, Pence, I know what we're gonna do today. Hey, here's something you might not know about Anubis. You know how he has the head of a jackal? Well, there's actually a reason for that. Apparently that was done as a peace offering with the jackals. You see, back in ancient Egypt, it was common for wild jackals to go to places where the dead were buried and dig up their corpses and eat parts of them. Defiling graves was a big no-no in ancient Egypt, as it was believed that that interferes with the soul's ability to pass on to the afterlife. So, in order to combat this, the Egyptians created a god of preserving the dead, and made him jackal-headed, in the hopes that he would prevent his brethren from doing this anymore, or at least that it would appease them, knowing that they got a god made after them. I just love that logic. Maybe next we should make a mosquito-headed god in order to get those things to stop annoying us. Alright, kids, since you all enjoy those Marvel Thor movies so much, I figured this would be a good opportunity to teach you some actual Norse mythology. Let's start with Thor the Man himself. Okay, so Thor would go on lots of adventures, and he would bring his 2 pet goats with him. And at the end of the day, every day, he would take his 2 pet goats, and then he would... You know what? That's a story for when you're older. Let's skip Thor for now, and let's talk about Odin. Yes, Odin, the All-Father, the king of the gods. He mastered the ancient Norse runes by stabbing himself. You know what? Odin's not important. Let's not talk about Odin. Let's talk about Loki. He's your favorite, right? You guys love Loki. Yeah, Loki, god of mischief, very clever. He once distracted a horse, but... Oh, hell no. You know what? This stuff's not important. Who wants to watch Avengers? So here's a mythical creature that's really messed up. The Owie Zot from Aztec mythology. It resembles a small black dog with pointed ears, spiky fur, and human-shaped hands at the ends of its limbs and its tail. Yeah, nothing creepy about that. Yeah, this is one doggo you should not try to play with because he's not friendly. This creature is very tricky and maniacal. He'll sometimes intentionally get caught by fishers' nets so that he can grab the fishermen afterwards. He'll also sometimes lure people to him by mimicking the cry of a child. Dude. Once you're within his reach, he'll grab you and yank you under the water, at which point he proceeds to eat your eyes, your teeth, your fingernails, and your toenails. What an interesting palate. And then he uses your dead body as bait to try to catch anyone who tries to come collect it. Jeez. Why was this on My Little Pony? Hey, you know how a lot of Apollo's lovers end up turning into plants? Well, I guess you could say their love really blossomed. Oh, wow, that necklace is beautiful. I'd love to buy it off you. We don't really have need for gold or silver, but I suppose we could give it to you if you're willing to, say, spend a few nights with some of us? Hold on, are you trying to get me to prostitute myself? Well, yes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable! You have got some nerve! Do you realize that I am a goddess? I'm the princess of the Vanir? I'm the queen of the Valkyries! Okay? You know, I can't believe you're trying to pull this. Way more intimidating people than you have tried to blackmail me into sleeping with them. So I take it that's a no? Well, I didn't say that. I really want that necklace. Did you know that Zeus once encountered Thor in a mythology story? It basically goes that Hermes tells Zeus that during one of his travels he heard that there's another god of thunder. Zeus is curious about this, so he takes the Olympians to Asgard and challenges Thor to a battle of strength, which is similar to arm wrestling. While they're arm wrestling, though, Zeus is afraid he might lose, so he starts urinating on Thor's leg. Thor is having none of it, and he does the same thing. The pool gets so big that it touches Hera, who starts yelling, and Loki doesn't like that she starts yelling, so he pulls out an M16 assault rifle and shoots her right between the eyes. This nearly starts a war, but Dionysus is able to prevent it by getting everyone drunk. However, they get so drunk they pass out, and while they are passed out, Disney successfully purchases Mount Olympus for use in their live-action remake of the Shrek movie. So, here's something I don't get about Ragnarok. Now, we know that before Ragnarok, both Loki and Fenrir have been captured by the gods, and they're both tied down in different locations. We also know that right at the start of Ragnarok, Loki and Fenrir will break free from their bonds. In fact, that will be one of the things that starts Ragnarok. We know that during Ragnarok, Loki is going to kill Heimdall, and Fenrir is going to kill Odin. The gods know this too. The Norns told them about it ahead of time. Now, since they know these things, and since they have Loki and Fenrir captured, why don't they just go execute both of them before Ragnarok can even happen? I mean, it would prevent Heimdall and Odin from dying during Ragnarok. It might stop Ragnarok entirely for all we know, since their breaking free kind of instigates it. And we know they can both die, so why don't the gods just go finish them off while they have the chance? Would it be considered poor sportsmanship to do that? Fun fact! Easter can be a very confusing time. Many people, myself included, have questioned why we celebrate the rebirth of Jesus with colored eggs and bunnies. Well, let me explain it here for you today. Eggs have actually been a symbol of life and rebirth for thousands of years, dating all the way back to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. So when Jesus was reborn, they naturally became associated with him as well. As for colored eggs, the Orthodox Church eventually started dyeing eggs red as a way to symbolize the blood of Christ. Isn't that pleasant? So that explains the eggs. What about the bunnies? Well, we actually get the name Easter from a Saxon goddess named Eostre, who is the goddess of fertility and spring, which is when Easter takes place. And her symbol is a rabbit. There you go. Also, rabbits are typically associated with life as well, because they pop out a lot of babies. Hey, you know how popular Thanatos is? Everyone's dying to meet him. Hey Zeus, I just heard the prophecy. One of your kids with Metis is gonna overthrow you? Oh yeah, that. Don't worry about that, I took care of that. Oh, cool. How did you address the problem? With barbecue sauce. No. Tell me you did not eat the child. Okay, I did not eat the child. Okay. I ate my wife to stop her from giving birth to any children. What? That's even worse! What is the matter with you? Hey, I had to make sure we didn't have any kids who would overthrow me. You know, you could just not get the woman pregnant. You want me to not get a woman pregnant? Do you know me? Alright everyone, before I take you across the river Styx and past the three-headed dog, are there any questions? Oh, and no, we are not gonna stop to play with the three-headed dog. So here's a mythical creature that's just plain gross. The Ashirai Yashiki from Japanese mythology. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a gigantic, dirty, hairy, smelly, disgusting foot. Because Japan. The story of this lovely creature basically goes that one day a man and his servants were just chilling in their house when suddenly a loud booming voice from outside screamed, "Wash my foot!" And then a gigantic, disgusting foot burst through the ceiling. You know, typical household problems. It was all kinds of gross, so they quickly just washed it in order to get rid of it, but it didn't stop there. The thing kept coming back every single day demanding to be cleaned, and if they ever refused to clean it, it started thrashing about and breaking stuff, which is very immature in my book. Finally, the owner had enough and switched houses with his neighbor. Guess he didn't tell him about this. But then, the foot never showed up again. This is Hades. He's the Greek god of the underworld. Ah, so he's the villain. What? No! Dude, being god of the underworld doesn't mean you're the villain. Hades is an honorable god. He works hard, loves his wife, and plays with his dog. Nah, he's the villain. Hey, you know how Mimir, the decapitated god, is so much smarter than everyone else? Well, I guess you could say he's always one step ahead. Hello, I'm Morose, the embodiment of doom in Greek mythology. If you're wondering what my life is like, the answer is lonely. Very lonely. Oh, you're wondering why that is? Well, do the math. You think people want to hang out around someone whose literal presence signifies impending doom? Here, I'll show you. Hey, Apollo, it's Morose. No, nothing's wrong. 'Cause I just wanted to talk. No, nothing bad is gonna happen. Trust me, I would know. Apollo, please calm down. Stop freaking out. Please don't cry. Please stop crying. Okay, you know what? This was a bad idea. Yeah, so I guess it's just gonna be me tonight. And some takeout. Hi, I'd like to order a pizza. Morose. No, nothing's wrong. Oh my god. What? What's going on? Well, I was going through some of my old stuff, and I found my baby pictures. Oh my god! Let me see! I have several questions. Hey bro, I heard that girl you like got turned into a tree. Yeah, a lot of my lovers have ended up getting turned into plants. Dang. Well, then I guess you could say you're a bit of a tree hugger? Seriously? Hey, don't look at me like that. You're the one with all the deep-seated issues. Oh my god. Don't worry, bro. I'll bet that together we can get to the root of this problem. Alright, I'm out. Don't lose hope, man! There's always room to grow! Your Majesty, just finished my 4th labor, killed the boar. Alright, well then your next labor is to clean all the poop out of the Augean stables. Wait, you want me to clean some stables? But I'm a demigod with super strength, aren't there better things to use me for? Oh no, we need you for this, because, you know, they're very, very poopy stables. And no one else wants to do it. You know, this is starting to sound more like a petty chore than a heroic labor. You know, this is all time that could just be spent cleaning the stables. Alright, fine, you're the boss. Hey, what's the next labor? You gonna make me pick up your dry cleaning? What? No, of course not. So here's something I don't really get about the story of Moses. So, you know how God and Moses together unleashed a whole bunch of freaky plagues on Egypt in order to kind of try to force the Pharaoh to release all of his Hebrew slaves? Why did they even need the Pharaoh's permission? What does it matter what he thinks? I mean, you've got God on your side. Why didn't God just snap his fingers and teleport all the Hebrews out of Egypt? Why bother with the plagues? Did he just want to show off? I think he wanted to show off. Hey! Here's something you might not know about Heimdall. Like most people, Heimdall has one father, but unlike most people, he has 9 different mothers. Wait, what? I'm not kidding you guys. Heimdall is the son of Ongea, Atla, Isla, Ergjafa, Gjolp, Grape, Emor, Yarnsaksa, and Ulfrun. Oh, and his father is Odin. And there is no canonical explanation for it. I need an explanation! How does one guy have 9 biological moms? Like, did they do pregnancy in shifts? Did they each hold the baby for 1 month and then pass it on? Did they each give birth to a different body part and then stick them all together like Tinker Toys? Did they all merge together, get pregnant, give birth, and then separate? I don't know. Those are the best explanations I can come up with. What do you guys think? Hey. Where do Egyptians read about funeral practices? On Tumblr. So here's a mythical creature who really seems to like drama. Ratatoskr from Norse mythology. Ratatoskr is a squirrel, and physically there's nothing all that weird about him. It's what he spends his time doing that I find interesting. You see, in Norse mythology there's a great world tree called Yggdrasil. At the top is a great eagle, and at the bottom is a dragon named Nidhogg, and these two hate each other. But how can they hate each other when they never ever see each other? Well, the answer is Ratatoskr. This little cretin constantly runs from end to end of the tree, carrying insults between these two, basically enabling and provoking their rivalry. Basically, he runs to the top and says, hey, Nidhogg says you suck, then runs to the bottom. The eagle says, no, you suck, runs to the top. Nidhogg says you're a punk, runs to the bottom. The eagle says a punk who slept with your mom last night. You've heard of Gossip Girl, but are you ready for Gossip Squirrel? Father, why can't I go into the forest of Carterhaw? Because, daughter, that forest is the dwelling place of a mysterious man named Tam Lin, who takes the virginity of any maiden he comes across. Really? Oh yes, really. Though some say he'll leave you alone if you give him one of your valuables or something like that. But regardless, I'm sure you can see now why it's so important that you stay away from that forest at all times. Where did she go? And why did she leave all her valuables behind? Listen, you need to stay away from the goddess Ishtar. That woman may be gorgeous, but she falls in love with and sleeps with just about every man she comes across. And then all of her ex-lovers suffer horrific and gruesome fates. So you're saying she's gorgeous and she'll sleep with me. And now, pickup lines. Are you Medusa? Because one look at you gets me rock hard. People call me Midas, cause I've got that golden touch. I may not be Hecate, but I know we can make some magic together. How about you be the Nemean lion, and I'll be the Greek hero who holds you really tight? You might as well call me Kronos, cause I'm gonna devour you. The fact that you're still alive is proof that Aphrodite does not exist. Fun fact. I'm sure we've all heard of the river Styx, but did you know that that is only one of 5 rivers in the Greek underworld? Yeah, in addition to the Styx, which is a river of unbreakable oaths, there is also Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. This is the river that good souls drink from to forget all the bad things they had to go through in life. It is also a river they drink from to forget their entire lives if they want to be reincarnated. In addition to that, there is Acheron, the river of pain and misery. This carries pain for the bad souls in the underworld. Then, there is Phlegethon, Pokemon, River of Fire. This is specifically connected to the fires of funeral pyres on the surface world. And then there is Cocytus, the river of misery and wailing and lamentation. This is the river that lost souls have to go to if Charon will not take them across the Styx because they didn't receive proper funerals and he didn't receive payment. So, unless he decides to feel generous, they have to stay there for all eternity. Just a little positive note to end this on. What if the Titans had Tinder? I have a pretty sweet ride. Don't mean to brag, but the sun rises and ends with me. Work takes up my whole day, so not trying to be that guy, but I can only really meet up at night. I think the stars have aligned for us, babe. I'm great at handling things down south, if you know what I mean. Fun fact, my name means ram, so you can probably see where I'm going with this. If you choose me, I'll extend our lives together for years beyond what you thought was possible. And any pain you feel, I promise to take away. But cross me, and these gifts might turn in the opposite direction. Wisdom with Mimir. Leaving angry comments on a video you hate actually increases its engagement, boosts it in the algorithm, and helps it become more popular. Hey, you know why Mimir is so lonely? Because he's got nobody. Here's something I don't get about Snorlax from Pokemon. So, when you encounter him in the games, he's fast asleep blocking your path, and nothing can wake him up unless you get some kind of flute. But if that's the case, why can't I just throw my Pokeball at him while he's asleep and catch him? If he's that deep asleep, he's probably not going to break out of the Pokeball. Heck, putting Pokemon to sleep in the games is a common tactic for catching them in encounters and stuff. So, why do I need to wake him up? Why can't I just catch him like that? Easy catch. Would that be considered rude? Nothing is more important to me than my vengeance, and I will not rest until I kill the god who took my family. Ooh, naked women. Maybe vengeance can wait. I'm gonna get me some red orbs. So here's a mythical creature who's a special kind of weird. The Bakezori from Japan. It's an evil, sentient sandal. What more do you really need? You see, the ancient Japanese believed that if you left your sandals lying around too long, or if you mistreated your sandals too much, they would become sentient and turn into little monsters. Naturally. These creatures spend their time running around the house, causing mischief, making loud noises, and mocking people. So, basically, they're just really annoying. And it's not just sandals in Japan. There's a whole race called Tsukumogami of inanimate objects that come to life. There's dish rags, lanterns, and umbrellas, all kinds of crazy crap. People who say your clothes aren't gonna pick up themselves have clearly never been to Japan. Hades, Demeter wants her daughter back. Very well, but since she ate half a pomegranate while in the underworld, she must return to me for half of every year. Lord Hades, could I please have my wife back? Alright, but you must not turn around to look at her until you have both left the underworld. Let's see if your love is stronger than doubt. Yo, Hades, I want to marry your wife. You good with that? Uh-huh. Why don't you take a seat first? Ha! Now you're trapped in that same spot forever. It'll give you some time to think about how foolish you've been. Hey, Uncle, is it alright if I take Cerberus? Yeah, go ahead. What? I ran out of poetic consequence ideas. Wow, there's a solar eclipse happening. I always wondered what causes those. Get out of my way! How about you get out of my way? I was here first! Which is exactly why it's my turn to be up here! For Dad's sake, we are not supposed to both be up here at the same time! Yeah, so move! You move! Hey, you know how the Fenris wolf felt when the gods tied him down? He was so sad he held back a tear. Man, Japanese mythology is so unique. How did they come up with this kind of stuff? Alright, dude, how about, like, an evil foot? Oh yeah? Like, what does it do? Well, it's a foot, so it's, like, really dirty. Ah, so, like, it wants someone to clean it? Bruh, I didn't even think of that! Dude, your umbrella's, it's like it's looking at me. You know, sometimes I feel like it's alive. Dude, you're a genius! So here's something I don't get about the Percy Jackson series. See, in the Percy Jackson books, one of the Titans gets knocked into the river Lethe, which is the river of Forgetfulness, in case you don't know. As a result of getting knocked in there, the Titan loses all of his memories and basically stops being evil. He pretty much starts over and ends up becoming a really nice guy as a result. So why don't Percy Jackson and his friends use that on all their other enemies? Why don't they go pick up some super soaker squirt guns at the store, go fill them up with Lethe water and blast them all over the Titans, the Giants, Kronos, Gaia, all of them. Make them all forget who they were, knock the evil right out of them. Wouldn't that be easier? Oh, boss, we've been voyaging for years. Can we please take a break? Maybe rest on that island? Oh no, not that island. That is the island of the Lotus Eaters. Eating the flowers there will put you in a state of constant happiness and bliss. Really? Oh yeah, but see, the catch is you'll never ever want to leave the island, which means you'll never see your wives or children ever again. Really? It's best if we just avoid that island altogether. After all, we still have years of perilous and torturous journey ahead of us, and we can't afford to... Hey, no, where are you going? No, get away from those flowers! You get back here right now and suffer with me! Wait a minute. What if Hades lied to me? What if my wife isn't actually behind me? What if this is all a trick? I know he said I'm not supposed to turn around, but I have to know! Or, why don't I just call out to her without turning around? Sweetheart, are you behind me? Yeah, I'm behind you. Oh, okay. Wow, that was a very easy way to solve it with no consequences. Hey, Heimdall, you okay? You look really wiped out. I just finished my Mother's Day shopping. Why do you have 9 different presents? Don't ask. Alright. Loki, what are you so happy about? Oh, my son sent me a Mother's Day card. Wait, why would your kid write you a Mother's Day card? Don't ask! Say, Thor, where's your mother? You're standing on her. Wait, what? Don't ask! For God's sakes, don't ask. Hey, you know why you never have to repeat yourself to Hermes? Because he always gets the message. Hey, boss, you know how you asked me to dig up some dirt on Gaia? Well, I got me a gold mine. I managed to get my hands on a little sex tape of her and her husband getting it on. Here, take a look. Oh man, who even knew they were into that kind of stuff? But hey, it's not half as good as this other tape I got of Nyx and Erebus. Look. Now that is just disgusting. So here's a mythical creature who sickens me to my very core. The Akaname from Japanese myth. Why did you guys ask me to cover this one? The Akaname is a small, naked, goblin-like creature with greasy skin and hair and a very long, sticky tongue. They also come in multiple colors meant to represent either mold or bed sores. Because of course they do. Their habitat is bathrooms. Yeah, great choice. However, they detest clean bathrooms and only go for especially dirty ones, so similar to a kind of pest. They then use that fabulous tongue of theirs to lap up and devour any filth, grease, hair, or waste that they come across, which kinda makes me want to puke! So yeah, guys, please make sure you keep your bathrooms clean so that we don't have to stomach this kind of thing. Please? So here's something I don't get about Disney's Hercules. In this movie, Hades wants to take over Mount Olympus, and he is told by the fates that the only thing stopping him from doing so is Hercules. Hercules is a baby at this point, though, and he tells Pain and Panic to go turn him mortal and then kill him. Why doesn't Hades just do it himself? We know he can go up to Mount Olympus, he did it for the party. We know he can be sneaky, they didn't even notice he was at the party until he announced himself. Why would he trust two absolute morons who can't even go down a flight of stairs without one accidentally stabbing the other in the butt? Hades, are you that lazy? Hey! Here's something you might not know about Hecate. Being the goddess of witchcraft, Hecate likes to collect animal familiars. But did you know that some of them used to be human? One of her pet dogs actually used to be Hecabe, the queen of Troy. When Troy fell, the queen threw herself into the ocean, only for Hecate to transform her into a dog and take her in. She also has a pet polecat, and there are actually two different stories about who that one used to be. One story says it used to be a woman named Galinthius who was transformed as punishment for defying the gods and then taken in by Hecate. Another story says it was a witch named Gale who was transformed by Hecate as punishment for misuse of her powers. So Hecate seems to make a habit out of keeping people as pets. Not sure how to feel about that. Hey, you know why Sisyphus gets so stressed out at work? Because every day is an uphill battle. Yo mama's so fat the Midgard serpent can't fit around her. Yo mama's so ugly she made all the trolls cry. Yo mama's so old Idun's apples can't help her. Yo mama's so weird she scared Loki away. Yo mama's so dumb she thinks Ragnarok is a new kind of music. Yo mama's so fat all 9 realms are complaining about her. Yo mama's so ugly Ratatosker has no words. Ooh, alright, there's the sleeping Snorlax that's been blocking my path. Let's use the flute to wake him up. Okay, now we're battling. I'm gonna try to catch this one. First step, use hypnosis to put him to sleep. Hold up. So, two of the most famous Greek stories are the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, I'm sure you all know the Odyssey is the story of a great journey, and since then it's become a pretty commonly used word. Like, people use Odyssey to refer to almost any journey. Oh, this is my Odyssey. We're going on an Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey. But nobody ever says Iliad. Like, we don't use Iliad the same way we use Odyssey. Like, the Iliad is a tragic love story that occurs during the Trojan War. So we should start using this word as a way to refer to, like, dramatic romance that occurs during, like, deadly conflict. I mean, it could already apply to several things. Romeo and Juliet is an Iliad. Game of Thrones is an Iliad. Pocahontas is an Iliad. Shrek is an Iliad. Normalize that. Hey, what is your problem? What do you mean? I mean, what is your problem? You guys are always talking crap about me. Why? Well, come on, you know. No, I don't know. I'm not the one going around forcing myself on women, or tormenting innocent women, or blaming victims, or kidnapping, or throwing babies off mountains, or alienating an entire gender, or cheating on a spouse, or causing apocalyptic events. Seriously, what is the issue with me? Yeah, but, you know, you're violent. Oh, well, of course! Yes, heaven forbid the god of war should be violent! Of course, yes. You know what? Next, let's all rail on the god of the sea, because he's wet! Wisdom with Mimir. You can never truly be sure that your baby is cute, because if it was ugly, no one would ever tell you. Hey, you know why Athena had to deal with Arachne? Because she was a looming threat. Is everything to your liking?
Yes, everything is wonderful, the ambiance is great, and the food is chef's kiss.
Well, that's excellent to hear. We work very hard at this restaurant to give you an authentic Greek experience.
Well, you've done a wonderful job.
Hey there, gorgeous.
What's going on here?
Yeah, that's Zeus. Like I said, authentic Greek experience. The Filipino white lady is a ghostly woman who will appear randomly, hitch rides with people, and then suddenly disappear from their cars. I wonder what the purpose of that is.
Okay, is this the place?
Yes, this is it.
Great! Alright, that'll be 200 pesos. Hey!
So here's a mythical creature with a very unorthodox diet. The Manananggal from the Philippines. The Manananggal is one of the Aswang, a term which refers to the evil, shape-shifting mythical creatures in Filipino culture. You know, it's great to know the number of those is high enough to warrant a name for the category. Its name translates to remover, because during the day it actually appears as a beautiful woman, but then at night it removes its upper half from its lower half, sprouts wings, and flies off in search of prey. Really can't trust anyone these days. And what is its prey, you ask? Oh, you shouldn't have asked, because it seeks out pregnant, sleeping women, then sticks its incredibly long tongue into their belly buttons and slurps up their unborn children. Isn't that lovely? The only known way to kill this thing is to find its vacant lower half and sprinkle either salt or garlic into it. Yeah, you know it's a vampire when you can kill it with seasoning. Hey, you know why Persephone is trusted to get things done? Because she always springs into action. Darling, a miracle has happened! You know that enormous peach we found earlier? Yes, the one that we'll be eating for the next few days. Well, actually, it turns out the peach is hollow, and there's a little baby boy inside. What? I know it's a bit strange, but isn't this wonderful? We have a son! Yeah, I guess so. And we also have no money. And apparently now we have no peach either. Hey, what's wrong with you? You don't seem excited. Well, I was just kinda counting on that peach to, keep us alive. And now instead we got a third mouth to feed. Not to mention the average cost of raising a child to adulthood. Well, you know what? This is how things are now. So you're gonna have to lose the attitude and think of another way to put food on the table. Here's a thought. The baby came out of a peach, right? Maybe he'll taste like one. So, here's a Norse story that I have a question about. Now, there is a tale where Thor's hammer gets stolen by a giant named Thrym, and Thrym says he wants the goddess Freya as his bride in exchange for it. But unbeknownst to him, the Asgardians dress Thor up in a wedding dress and send him and Loki into the wedding undercover to get the hammer back and kill all the giants. But did they even need to do that? I mean, they clearly know where the wedding is, because they were expected to send Freya down there, and they know the hammer's gonna be there as, an exchange, so why did they even dress Thor up in a wedding dress? Why didn't all the Asgardians just storm the place, kill all the giants, and take the hammer back? I mean, even if it's hidden somewhere, it's gotta be there somewhere, they can find it. Did Thor just want to be a bride for a day? Is that a hidden desire of his? Or did Loki just want to see that? What's the reason? Hey! Yo mummy's so fat, Apophis couldn't swallow her. Yo mummy's so lonely, she has more cats than Bast. Yo mummy's so annoying, she put the sigh in Osiris. Yo mummy's so dumb, when she heard people chanting Ra, she thought she was at a Lady Gaga concert. Yo mummy's so big, the pyramids keep poking her in the butt. Yo mummy's so thirsty, she kept drinking the water even after Moses turned it into blood. Yo mama's so ugly, Anubis accidentally took her to the underworld while she was still alive. Darling, I made a difficult decision today to save our son. I placed him in a basket and set him loose in a river so someone else would find him. It's the only way to protect him from the Pharaoh. Well, at least we know he'll be safe. Well, so long as the basket doesn't run into any rocks. Oh yeah, or currents. Or boats. Or hippos. Or crocodiles! Okay, this was a bad idea. Hey, why did Paris of Troy think it was a good idea to kidnap Helen? Because he was ill-advised. So here's a mythical creature who kinda reminds me of BoJack Horseman. The Tikbalang from the Philippines. This creature has the head of a horse and the body of a human, so basically like a centaur, only the exact opposite. Filipinos like to shake things up. You need to watch out for these creatures because they are horny. And when they're horny, they don't open Pornhub. Oh no, they go around snatching whichever women they want. Not cool, bro. That is not very gentlemanly. But there's another sinister thing these creatures do. They use their special powers to cause people to get lost. Well, that's irritating. Yeah, they apparently have the power to constantly misdirect you and set you on the wrong path because they're jerks. But fortunately, there is a way to counteract this. To counter this creature's powers, you must take your shirt and turn it inside out. That's a new one. Like I said, Filipinos like to shake things up. Hey, my name is Hercules, and I'm here to clean your stables for you. Oh, great! All right, go for it. Cool. So, what do I punch? What do you punch? Yeah, you know, like, how do I do this? Do I punch the stables? Do I punch the cows? Do I punch the poop? Come on, how do I get this done? Heracles, you don't punch anything. You can't solve all your problems with violence. I can't? Nope. So if you're gonna clean those stables, you gotta do it the old-fashioned way. By punching. No, like, by washing them? Like, with water? Water, huh? Oh, so I should go punch that river down to the stables. Okay, I get it. Oh my god, Heracles, that's not the and he's gone. And he's punching the river. And it's working. Huh. The Lord God, who's been nothing but kind and loving and giving and generous to me, told me not to eat this fruit. But then a random snake said that I should. Tough decision. This is literally the toughest decision any human being has ever had to make. I am hungry, and, you know I'm surrounded by delicious food that is not off limits here in the Garden of Eden, but this one's already in my hand. What am I gonna do, put it down and pick up another one? No! That would literally be the most intense chore any human being has ever had to go through. I just can't believe that Karna was actually my long-lost brother all this time. And yet he ended up fighting against us in the Great War. It's sad. How did it come to that? Was there any particular moment that could have set him down that path? Hello there. My name is Karna, and it's really nice to meet you. Oh my god, a poor person! Why is it talking to me? Everybody shun him! Shun him now! He is not one of us! Nah, I got nothing. Hey, what do you call a man who suffers from the delusion that he is an Irish mythical creature? A leprechondriac. Okay, how the hell did Thrym steal Thor's hammer in Norse mythology? Like, Thor himself, the most powerful Norse god, needs to wear gloves and a belt that literally double his power just to pick the thing up. But Thrym can apparently pick it up and steal it, like, discreetly. How powerful is Thrym? If he's that strong, and he has the hammer, which is incredibly powerful, and he's king of the giants, so he has an army at his disposal, why didn't he just storm Asgard, wipe out the gods, and take Freya as his bride, instead of trying to organize a deal to get her? Like, what is he, non-violent? Like, theft, blackmail, and forcing someone to marry you are all up his alley, but violence, oh no, now we've crossed the line. Alright, children, today we are going to learn about Hindu mythology, specifically the 5 Pandava brothers from the Mahabharat. First, there is Yudhisthir, the wisest of the brothers and their leader. Next, there is Bhim, the strongest of the brothers, slayer of all kinds of demons. Third, there is Arjun, the most skilled of the brothers. He's basically their champion. And finally, there is Nakul and Sahadev. Moving on.
You're mine!
What the hell? What are you?
Silly girl, I am the Tikbalong, a Filipino mythical horse creature who has his way with any woman he wants.
Wait a second. Mythical character, animal persona, forcing itself on women? Hey! I knew it! Hello there, young man. Oh my gosh, Odin! What are you doing here? Well, I'm here to collect that gift you got for me. Well, I didn't get this for you. It's for my dad. Oh, young man. You know what day it is today? Yeah, it's Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And what's my title? The All-Father. The All-Father, that's right, now fork it over. Seriously, Odin, aren't you being kinda petty? Would you rather I be petty or you be dead? Hey, you know why the other knights couldn't pull the sword from the stone? Because they didn't have authorization. Hey bruh, you know the developers of God of War? Oh, you mean those wonderful people who work their butts off to make awesome games with no microtransactions and are constantly preaching pro-consumer behavior in the games industry? Yep. But, did you know that they actually delayed the upcoming God of War game to try to ensure that it'll have the high quality fans are expecting? High quality? But I want the game now! I know, right? How could they be so selfish? We gotta harass them and send them death threats! Naturally. Man, why can't all gamers be like us? We are clearly doing the right thing here. Not all heroes wear capes, my friend.